Hey, this is Derica, your host on the Happiness Recipe Show 2.0, where top experts are sharing their personal stories and breakthroughs. Can I start over? Sorry.
Of course.
Where did that go to? Okay, here we go. This is Derica, your host on the Happiness Recipe 2.0, where top experts are sharing personal stories and vital ingredients on how they broke through their own fears and resistance and into their happy lives, and how you can do the same. I'm very excited to announce our expert and speak and dive into her juicy details, Lisa Haisha. Thank you and welcome for being on the show.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
great to be here.
Awesome. So let's dive right into who is Lisa Haisha?
Aisha.
Haisha. Sorry. Haisha is an author, speaker, and life coach. She's traveled the world over 60 countries and leads workshops and retreats globally. She also hosted a show on Amazon Prime and has another one coming out this summer. Woo. Thank you. Welcome again. So we're going to jump right on into it, Lisa. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and what led you into doing what it is that you do today?
Well, I like to start it off with I was born under a Baghdad roof in San Diego.
All right. Woo! Wow.
Yes, and I'm writing a book about that. That's my next book. The book that's coming out is
Yes.
going to be about soul blazing, this method of transformation I created. And then the next one will be my travel memoir called Under a Baghdad Roof, which really led me to all these interesting situations and experiences of going to Iraq during the bombing and then going to over 60 countries, of finding myself, my voice, staying with different tribes, Aborigines, shamans, Sufis, every place,
Wow.
and just learning about people and how they live in different countries and staying with families. And it just changed my whole life, my whole perspective on things. And I thought, how can I share this in a simpler way with people where they don't have to spend 3 decades traveling to over 60 countries to get insights? So I tried to think about, how do I just bring that into something that's very simple? So I realized when I was working with people, especially even in the prisons, women's prisons, I realized that everyone has a way of thinking from their childhood or their life experiences where they've created another character, almost like schizophrenia, but not. But something that helped them get through painful times.
Yeah.
So not as severe as schizophrenia. So we create a mask. Oh, my parents are this way, so I'll wear this mask and portray myself this way to them. Oh, this group of friends are more liberal, so I get to be this way with them. I'm going to try ayahuasca. I'm going to do, whatever it is that you want to do, jump in pools naked and have a good time and, parties and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Oh, no, I'm with this group of people where I'm in church, so I dress appropriately and I'm a good church girl. So it's like, oh, what are these masks that we put on and why do we feel the need to do it instead of being our authentic selves to everyone? And the answer to that is we don't want to be hated on. And so the risk to be hated is so severe because you love everyone in your circle and you want to fit in and you want to have a good job. You want to do different things in life that depend on you acquiescing to a certain way of being, frameworks that have been preset.
Right. Wow, your journey is incredible. If you started out where you were born and over the 30 years, all the different things that you've witnessed and seen from all around the world. And so you're pretty much firsthand the one who knows all about the fears and resistance that so many of us globally are suffering from, no matter, that's curious. I'm going to jump in here. Have you seen, this is off topic, but I'm channeling this through. Have you seen some core examples of no matter where you were in the world, the same type of fears or resistance that we all sort of can understand and relate to?
Sure. I wrote a book called Whispers from Children's Hearts, where I went to orphanages over 5 years, 15 orphanages. And I asked them questions and I wanted to memorialize their words after I got so many incredible answers. So it really does break down to continents in a way, for like the Middle East, Australians, people born in the United States, even Southern and Eastern. It's very different from East Coast and West Coast, the thinking, but overall, it's about basic needs. Who do I love? Who loves me? And it comes down to that. And if you don't have those basic needs met, you start spiraling into all these different ideas. You start going down rabbit holes that could damage your life. Start believing in different conspiracy theories or different ways of living. That's how people join gangs or whatever, because they want to feel like they belong someplace. So what I gathered from the Middle East and Asia and these places, family is so important. And there's good and bad to that. They have tribes, it's not just, your spouse and your one or two children. They usually have 5, 7, 9, 10. My dad was the 14th child, to give you an example. And that was the norm.
Yeah.
Once the woman gets her period, they get married and then they have to make a baby right away. So by 13, they are baby making machines, and it goes on. So if you do something wrong or the steps out of line of what the family is, what their mission is and what their values are, you will be disowned by a tribe of really 200, 300 people, because it's all your aunts and uncles and their kids and all that.
Yeah.
So to really branch out and say, well, this is who I am. I'm a little different. It's like, no, you're not, or you're disowned. So sometimes that's why they do the stoning and the killings on family for saving family from shame.
Yeah.
So they're shame killings. Anyone who goes out to shame their family.
Yeah.
And so I realized there's different levels of that, even in the US and other places, where when you go to school, kids have so much pressure to fit in. And what group do I belong to? And you got to fit into a group, otherwise you're picked on, there's power in numbers. And how do you survive? And how are you treated as a child? And what has been done to you? So what security did you put up to protect your heart or to protect your survival? Yeah. So after doing this for over a decade, I came up with 7. I came up with a lot more, but I kind of whittled them down and kind of married a few of them, like a fixer and a counselor. They're kind of the same. A counselor wants to help, but they're a more softer version, where a fixer is doing it for maybe personal gain of trying to hook you up, network, now give me money and I want a piece of everything.
Yeah.
Compared to a counselor is just saying, pay me a certain fee and let me help you, or, you know what I mean? Or even in friendship circles, if it's not a professional thing, some friends just give you advice or introduce you, and other friends go, well, what's in it for me? I'll do this if I get this. So it's like all these different, so like I married those, and there's the good side and the bad side. So they could be your superpowers or they could be your saboteurs.
Okay.
So a lot of thought in psychology, they say, you are the way you are, and what you have to do is get rid of the aspects of yourself that you don't like, and you've got to work on doing that most of your life. And I disagree with that, because I think sometimes what's happened to you is so deep, and it really did change who you are and your thoughts and your beliefs, depending on where you grew up. If you grew up in Southern California, you're going to have very different values if you went to Iraq and started to live there. And there's no way you could just start changing those values 100%. So you put up a mask. This is the mask I'll wear when I'm there, that I could fit in and get along, which isn't changing your values, but it's widening your understanding and maybe empathy and being open-minded to allowing other people to have their own beliefs, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's like the victim. Some people go through life, I'm a victim, everyone help me, handouts, because this happened and that happened. So what you do is you go, what is the superpower of a victim? And how can I not let it sabotage my life? Where's the superpower in it?
Awesome.
And the superpower could be in, oh, I don't have a job, I don't have friends, or I don't have money, or why don't you go volunteer? There's thousands of volunteer places. Just Google volunteer in the city you're in. And once you start doing that, you start making authentic, genuine connections. And you're actually giving of yourself instead of saying, give me, and being a taker, you're being a giver.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that, something in your DNA changes because you start getting loved in a different way. You start feeling appreciated. You start feeling your value. And even if your value is so little, if you could read at the level of a fifth grader and you're a senior in high school, still you're reading to children at a fifth grade. And they're so appreciative that go, I want to learn to read more. I want to learn to do this more. So from working with people, foster kids and orphans for a decade or more, I started implementing these little changes in them, saying, oh, go do this, or in a group, well, you go teach them this, and I have them each have a job to teach the other people. And watching their self-esteem grow was just remarkable. So I started taking people on retreats around the world, to Kenya, to Tanzania, Bali, Costa Rica, Egypt, different places, to go and work at orphanages and bring a suitcase of gifts to give them. And what's unique, like I'm in LA, so I would go to Hollywood and get Hollywood pencils and Hollywood t-shirts, stuff that they can't get.
Yeah.
And you bring medicines and whatever, and they appreciate it so much. And then we teach them duck, duck, goose, and whatever, how to jump rope, and our little games, card games, and Uno, and whatever. And then they teach us their games and their rituals and what they do. And watching that interaction is just like, wow. So I start studying these kids too. I'm like, oh, that kid's the clown. They always have to make jokes to fit in, or and that's their superpower, because they can make people laugh, and laughter is contagious. People like people who are funny. But if you do it too much, it could be a saboteur, where you kind of are sarcastic or throw people under the bus for a joke, criticize someone or make fun of them. And everyone laughs because it's true, but now you're hurting someone. So now it's your saboteur, and you're doing it. Your need to be liked and loved is so deep that you're willing to cut someone else down to shine. Absolutely. So it's like, oh, okay, if that's your quality, how do you focus on just being the superpower? Notice when you do this, and I offer steps, and we do this whole process of working on that and eliminating that. Then there is the seductor, imposter. And that's the one who manipulates and uses their charm to get what they want, male or female. They all do it. They have the charm. They've got what it takes. Usually politicians, presidents, they all have it. If you look at most of our presidents, they have a power over the people, that people are just drawn to their charisma in one way or another. And they could use that as a superpower, as we've seen, or as a saboteur, as we've seen. They could get people to do horrendous things, so they could get people to do fabulous things, to go out there and be of service. But their voice and message is going out there. There's the egoists, that those are people who like run companies. How do you treat your employees? You have a huge ego, and you could use it as a superpower, because your belief in yourself could help move mountains and really create create these big companies, Apple. But if you're going to be a jerk and cut everyone down, and all these dead bodies are around you, then how is that a superpower? Now it's just as equally a saboteur. So your legacy, which I have a whole program of creating your legacy, is diminished because of what you're doing. So I'm looking at all these. There's the victim, the judge, the egoist, the overthinker, the fixer, the clown, the seductor, and then there's the authentic soul. And the authentic soul is where you want to be. That's who we came into this world to be. That's where you're pure, you're fresh. And then you start getting all these ideas from your environment. And as you get older, it's the 5 people you're closest to is really a combination of who you are.
Yeah.
Because you are a piece of all these 5 people. So be careful who you hang out with. Not, oh, they live next door, I know they're this and that, but they're convenient. So what I do is it's up here in my office, I have the people who I want to hang out with the most. Like I love Anais Nin. She was a great memoirist. She wrote her journals, and she was just, her writing changed literature, and just her honesty and her purity to herself. So I'm a writer, and I want to really write from my truth and from my heart. So she's up there. So I talk to her every day. I read her books. They're right here. I read them. I love
this.
Oprah Winfrey for what she's done, how she changed the conversation, and how she brought self-help and self-empowerment to the forefront. So I have her picture up, and I listen to her stuff on YouTube and whatever. So I have Simone de Beauvoir, Aubrey Hepburn, Tracy Chapman, Paulo Coelho, Picasso, all these people who I love art. I've been painting forever. So it's like, oh, I want to channel him, and I want to channel. So all these aspects of myself that I want to see grow, I put a superhero in that place. Who's the best at that? Who's a superhero? Then I read about them. I watch their YouTube videos. I study them, even if it's 20 minutes a day, 2 minutes on each one. I'm always looking at them because they're right here. But then I, go and read about them, YouTube them, whatever, to keep them in my consciousness, because I'm going, this is who I am. Right. And if you work on that every day, you start becoming that, because your words create your reality. I know we've all heard that 100 times, what your thoughts are, what you say to yourself each day, and you have to just micromanage them to the T. And a lot of times it doesn't work because they're just affirmations. So I teach my clients to not make them just affirmations, but declarations. And the difference is, you go, what do I want in my life? What do I want to happen? And then you write that down, like, I'm a strong, powerful woman, I love exercise. I am brimming with energy, I break my day with work, rest, play, and prayer. So I'm balanced, so we have all of these things of, what do I need to be who I want to be? So I have the images of these people I want to be like, of these different categories, slices of them.
Yeah.
And make my I am affirmations to that, not just random. There's all these YouTube videos that just say powerful affirmations, but if they don't sink into your why, then it won't work. So you have to know your why. Then you have to do a radical self-forgiveness on the aspect that is fighting you to achieve that. Like, if you're saying, I want to be successful in business, and the party's going, yeah, right. You've got no money. You've got roommates. You could barely stay afloat. You have no one to turn to for money. You're working at, a fast food restaurant making under $10 an hour. How do you break out of that? Yeah. Well, slowly. And it takes time. So first of all, you have to do radical self-forgiveness on who you are today and what you don't like about yourself, and make a list. I forgive myself for judging myself as not being good enough to make more money. I forgive myself in judging myself that I work in a fast food chain when I think I should be running my own company, my own Apple. I have it in my brain what I want to create, but it's not happening. I forgive myself for judging myself as not being ambitious enough, as not being focused enough, as whatever your things are. When I started doing this, I had 20 things on each one practically on weight, I forgive myself for judging myself for eating that chocolate cake. I forgive myself for judging myself for thinking that's wrong. I forgive myself for judging myself that I have to be a size 2 because I live in Hollywood. I forgive myself that people won't take me seriously unless I'm, perfect. And like, once you let all that go, then the affirmations work, which again, I call declarations, because the affirmation is a declaration is, I'm declaring this to be me, and this is why. And you have your why, and what's stopping that process is your forgiveness. You haven't forgiven yourself, and you don't really deep down feel you're worth it. Why didn't I prepare for this? Why didn't I dress the proper way? Why did I show up late? Why, these are all little things that you sabotage yourself, because I'm really not good enough. But wait, I'm doing it, but it's not working. I'm not getting the return on my investment of time that I thought. It's well, because you keep sabotaging yourself little by little, chipping away at that, because you have to watch your words, because they become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. And Lao Tzu said that like years ago, thousands of years ago, and so many thought leaders have taken it on and did their spin on it to create whatever they're trying to help their clients with. but it's so true. It just trickles on down. You know, your thoughts are words, your words are actions, your actions are habits, your habits are character, and your character is destiny, because your character really creates who you're going to be. The people who will be drawn to you to help you are the same people who are your same character.
Absolutely.
You know, so you've got to go, who is my team? And you've got to start seeking those people out. Like I've been meditating for years, but I recently got deeper and deeper into TM during the pandemic because I have more time. So I'm going, oh, instead of just meditating 20 minutes morning and night or sunrise and sunset, I'm going to make it an hour. Oh, now I'm going to make it 2 hours a day. So I got into team communities and online communities. And now I'm going to go out probably within a month or two to the live events. And I've developed deeper friendships in that group that are on that path. So now I've got that path, and my teacher is now one of my 5 closest people because I want to develop that. See what I'm saying? So you could shift them around of who you are and how you're growing. So now I'm saying your mind and your thoughts are so important. I'm doing an experiment on myself. If I meditate for 2 hours a day, every day for 6 months, what will that do to my brain? And I'm having it tested, you know, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, and seeing what the ramifications are and doing the brain mapping. And when you do that, it is astonishing to see your focus, your concentration, your patience, everything.
How it shifts.
So,
With that deep meditation. You are so on point right now, Lisa. I feel like all the questions that we had on this interview, you were just knocking out. You're just going one by one. So you're getting all those questions. And what I want to focus on, because you let us in on some of your own fears, which I think we love and we can relate to, how we have that dialogue in our head, that resistance of all the things, what you said, we need to forgive ourselves for, right? So is that the first step? We have to first acknowledge our fears, acknowledge what is holding us back, what is keeping us playing small and not happy. And then once you see those, you can make a list. I heard you say, make a list, right? Make a list. And then you go one by one, you face it and you forgive them. Can you give me one more example? If someone is having, I'm not good enough, pop up in their head, what would you say would be the best forgiveness and declaration for that?
if I'm not good enough?
Yeah, if like every time they go to do something that makes them happy, they go, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do it.
Because they're probably not good enough and they know it, because they haven't developed discipline, and discipline equals freedom. And when you don't forgive yourself, that means they have many, 3 to 20 thoughts in their head are saying, your mom said this about you, your dad said that, a teacher said this, a friend said that. And it's deep in your subconscious mind that you really aren't good enough and you're not capable of really doing this, even though you want to. So another year will pass, 2 years will pass, where you're just wasting time, and time goes by like this. The more years that pass, the more your confidence starts to dwindle. But once you start to discipline yourself, and you have to do that with baby steps. Like when I started meditation, I started it off with 1 minute a day. Then 1 minute morning and night the second week. Then 2 minutes the next week, morning and night. Then 5 minutes. Then I sat on 5 minutes morning and night for about a month, because I tried to do more. And when I tried to do more, I would fail. Then anytime you don't keep your word to yourself, it's another, I told you so.
Yeah.
So I used to say, oh, here's my to-do list. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And okay, I can do it. I'm going to get up at 6. I'm going to go run for a mile. Then I'm going to go to the gym and do weights. Then I'm going to call my agent to do this. And then I'm going to write 20 pages of my book. And then I'm going to meet with 2 clients for an hour each. And then I'm going to, just putting it all down. And you look at it when you're doing it by the half of your mile. If it's day 1, you're like, I don't want to do this. And you leave, then you go, okay, I'm going to just skip the weights because it's probably not healthy, because it's too much too soon. You know what? I don't have an appointment with my agent. I'm going to just put that off till tomorrow, because I now am overwhelmed and I want a big bowl of pasta and I want to just chill out and watch a Netflix show or something. or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, the next day, okay, I'm going to start again. Then you do 2 or 3, but you don't do all of them. Then you're going, okay, I'm a total loser. And those start getting it. So you're from all your old ones, now you're developing new ones that are even more fresh, that you're
Yeah.
proving that you're not worthy all the
Yeah.
time. So
So
I
start with
advise people
self-discipline. Like
to
start
do
there. Are you saying start with
dumb it down. Dumb it down. I am going to have one glass of water a day. Everyone can do that. Even some people that's hard, but one glass of water a day. So I wake up in the morning, I have this. I drink this when I wake up, the whole thing, and then I sip it throughout the day. But just one glass. This took a long time to do. One glass, even 6 ounces of water a day. Just wake up and do it, and you're done. Or even take 3 ounces and 3 ounces, whatever.
Okay.
6 ounces, then make it 8, then make it 12, then make it 16, 1 week at a time. But so you could keep your promise. If you say, I'm going to drink one of these a day and you don't do it, you're going to go, see, I have no discipline. I'm a loser. I can't do it. And you're going to stay at your job that at least is giving you some money.
Right.
And then when you're at a job that you don't like, you're not doing your best, or you try to cut corners, or if you could sneak out earlier, you do. Or I have a friend who works at Domino's and said, oh yeah, we sneak pizza and we take home this and we make extra and then say they canceled so I get a free pizza, or so maybe I shouldn't say the name of the company, but you don't know where in the world. But sometimes people just do that. And because it's like, I hate this job, I'm not being paid enough. And so what do? You just go, okay, I deserve more, so let me kind of cheat and get more. Right. But what that does to you is, I'm a cheater, I'm a thief, I'm a liar. If you don't like it, don't do it. Then you say, well, I need the money, so I have to do it, but they're ripping me off. Well, find a way that you could make an agreement with yourself of, how can I learn more in this job while I'm doing a job where I'm underpaid? Pretend it's volunteer work, because you're not up to snuff of what you need skill-wise to get that other job.
Yeah.
So reverse it. It's not about them. It's not about the money. It's about you waking up, being at a place on time, doing what you're supposed to do with excellence. And at the end of the day, and I swear to God, somebody will walk in while you're working and say, here's my card. I'm looking for a good worker. I have seen that happen to so many people. Yes. I met my assistant that I've had for 5 years. She was my Uber driver, and she was complaining to me. She's like, oh, I have to work at Nordstrom's. I'm she worked there just as a salesperson and pseudo stylist. She helped people with style, and she was an Uber driver. And then on the side, she did assistant work or whatever, just helping, random people just like move or whatever. And she's like, I'm so tired. And then I saw her work ethic, and she was driving me. Her car was clean. She had water for me. She had a little snack thing in case you want to snack, like little nuts with a little spoon where you can put some out. And she was conversational. How do you want the temperature? What do you want? She made sure I had a phone cord. And I'm like, okay, she's 23. I said, do you want to get out of that rut? I need a good assistant. You're good. I can tell you're good. Quit all your jobs. Tell me what you get paid, and I will pay you that with 10% raise, and just come here and work for me for 25 hours a week.
Wow.
And then she could focus on what she wanted to do in life, which was work in the film business. And she wanted to be an actress. I said, no, you're not an actress. You're more of a producer. You don't want to be an actress. That's a super hard road. And she's so good at organizing. So she's been working with me for like 3 years, and she's did a phenomenal job. And then now I said, keep applying. So I was helping her apply to film jobs and all. Now she's been working the film company, and now she's works under one of the biggest companies under Paramount, the boss of the whole company.
See how that happens? Wow.
Yeah, and that's from just showing up, doing a job she hated, which was driving, and she hated all her other jobs, but she did everything so well that she got a chance. And now, unfortunately, as of maybe next month, it's going to be her last month this month. But I'm happy for her. I'm like, yay!
Yeah,
we get it. We're a team, So now she's like family to me. We're like bonded because we were both there for each other. I needed somebody that Well, I was just regrouping and rebranding. So not a high powered person that needs a lot of money and this and that and needs to be working at a high end. I needed someone just like a best friend to just help me do
Yeah.
a lot of the dirty work I hated, returning emails and, stuff like you, answering questions, sending photos and resumes, all that
Yeah.
stuff that take a long time,
Yeah.
and booking these speaking jobs, well, so I could just go speak. So like, wow, she could just do that. And I get to do all this other stuff. So it was simple stuff. But then
Yeah.
she kept raising the bar. She goes, oh, you need a press kit. And she got all my pictures together, made a beautiful press kit. She didn't have to do that. That wasn't part of her job description. But this beautiful press kit of all my stuff and put everything in one place. So she went above and beyond of what an assistant does. Most people would say, I'll do this, but it'll cost you X amount of dollars. If you get that done at a professional place, it's like $2,000 or $1,500, depending on how big it is. And she just threw it in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just doing this on my off time and I want to do this. So when people do that, so of course, when they said, oh, we want, to find out what kind of an employee she is, and I started getting these emails, I'm like, you can't find better. She's amazing. And I could tell 10 stories of why she's amazing. And they're like, wow, okay. And then she kept booking jobs and getting a bigger job, a bigger job, a bigger job, until her job started from 25 then to 15 hours a week for me, then 10 hours a week for me. Now she's like, I could give you like 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's time. We got to move on.
You see, that's so inspirational for all those who are watching right now, because it really doesn't matter where you guys are starting. I mean, I've started in the fast food business myself too. I think a lot of us have, and we all start, right? I mean, we all start somewhere. But if we start with that self-awareness, as Lisa's saying, just recognize, what are your fears? Where's your resistance? Where are you doing things and thinking things that you wouldn't want back, done back to you? This is not the kind of person. Okay, well then have that awareness, start applying little by little, like she's saying, the baby steps of being disciplined with yourself, with your time, with your actions, with your thoughts. And there is magical laws in this universe. Just as this wonderful story Lisa's saying right now, that all of a sudden, if you're being the best version of you, just starting baby steps, being the best version of you just keeps coming towards you. These magical experiences, right, are going to keep coming into you. And all of a sudden, you could be Lisa's assistant. This is real stuff here. So that radical forgiveness, I love that piece too, you guys. Please re-listen to what she said on there. There was a lot of gold in there. And then also I want to remind you guys on the top 5 people in your life that she spoke about. We're products of our environment. We are our environment, right? And so if you're wanting something bigger and better in your life, do what Lisa is doing. I mean, I don't even do that yet. I think of those 5 people and I try to get myself into all these like-minded people I like, but having the photos there around you of these people, and go big, you guys. Don't play small. She has Oprah on her wall. I mean, go big. And then you also said, like, watch them, right? Videos of these people, follow these people.
Like, I have a date with them. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, instead of going out with a friend who's going to be, oh, I don't have my job, this is happening and that's happening. I go, oh, I'm busy. It's called date nights, like with myself, whatever. So I book it in my calendar. I can still see friends, but I make sure I get in my 5 besties. My besties are Pablo Picasso, Oprah, Simone de Beauvoir. It changes all the time.
Oh my goodness.
So once I get my besties in, then I have time for other people, but I book them. So each of them get an hour a week of my time, but every morning I look at them, like you could just see, like right up there, they are on the wall.
Okay, it was a little low, but I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, you couldn't see the frames? Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but your room was gorgeous.
Yeah. And then you could see up there, that's my declarations and my mission board. Yes. So it's like I look at them every day. Who am I? I wake up each morning with clarity. I radiate beauty, charm, and grace. I have all the time there is, and I master it. So I'm just putting all this stuff into my brain every day while I'm sitting in my office and I'm looking over here. Even my daughter is one of my people that I admire. So she's up there, Tina Turner, because just her resilience. And, so I just focus on these and go, we're all so complex and we have so many different layers to us. Yeah. So each, piece of the pie that I am, who's the best in that field that I admire. So let me keep those energies and those relationships. Those are valuable relationships to me. Even if they're dead, it doesn't matter. Their energy's still here. So what did they have to say? What advice did they have to give? And how did they become who they were? How did they get the discipline to do what they did? Tina Turner was one of the biggest stars in the world. And then Ike took everything from her, and she just kept her name, and she didn't even get one penny of their millions of dollars. She became a housekeeper at 35 years old, cleaning houses until she rebuilt herself up, and now she's worth 100 million again or whatever. But how many people would have that kind of strength and courage? And she's not an egoist imposter. She's like, you know what, my ego is here. I've got to now experience humility and rebuild, but I still know who I am. Because she knew, she did this work. She did her version of TM. She did Nam Myoho Renge Kyo every morning. So she focused on raising her vibration, because you could only connect with and really be friends with people who vibrate at your same level. Otherwise, there'll be a disconnect, or it's like, oh, I don't know, I just don't get that person. Or you won't get hired because they're going to go, oh, we didn't have the same energy. But when you vibrate on the same energy or higher than those you're with, people will like you, people will trust you, people will respect you.
Yes.
So you got to keep that high every day. It seems like we're getting beaten down by 100 things that could just go, stay in bed, give up, who cares, you know? The world's against us, you know? It's, you know, it's built in that way, and we're never going to get out of this. It's like, no, forget about everyone. You're you. Change you, you change the world. Everyone says, oh, I want to change this. I want to change you. You change you and rise above your issues, it's going to compound effect on everybody in the world.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay, you guys, we're rising through. I know we all have these fears. We all have this resistance, you guys. And I know it's challenging. It's hard. We're sitting here, Lisa and I, and we know firsthand how hard these barriers are. And just these simple yet powerful things, one by one, just owning them up, realizing that they're writing them down, forgiving them, shifting them one by one, you guys, one by one, and just absorbing and embodying that person you want to be, even if it feels fake, even if it feels like, oh, what the heck am I doing? Keep doing it. Did you see her dream board? Her whole wall, her whole window there is a dream board. You guys, we still do this to this day. Anything that you admire, put it up there. These declarations, I replay this video, you guys. Her declarations were on point. I love them. I'm stealing some of them. Write them down, write them down. I want to get into, you gave so many great tips today. Let's talk about, because we're almost up on time, and there's already so much beautiful stuff in this video. We're going to go a little bit deeper. Can you tell them what you're actually giving our audience that is watching? I heard it's a 1 hour Zoom group.
Yeah, 1 hour Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, March 25th. Just email me at team@lisahaisha.com.
Okay, beautiful. And I will make sure right under this video, you guys, will have the link to that email. And so in that email, just put 1 hour group and title, let's say this show too. We'll say title, The Happiness Recipe, in the body of that email. Send it off to her team, and they'll get you hooked up with that 1 hour group Zoom meeting with Lisa herself. And she'll talk about Q&A. I'm sure this all will be about happiness and how to break through your barriers. I want to thank you so much, Lisa, for your beautiful time here. All of this wisdom and your energy essence that you brought to this audience. We thank you and appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, you guys in audience, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and watching another episode here. You'll never be the same after this episode. Love you all so much, and enjoy your day.